I'm good. Alright, so let's take a look at this, guys. Faces, vertices, edges. What I want you guys to do is I want you to think in your mind, what do those words mean? Okay, what do those words mean? Faces, vertices, and edges. Because we really have to get that nailed down in our minds before make sure we're okay with it. Alright. Okay, can I have a volunteer? Tell me, what is a face? What is a face? Who can remind us? What is a face? Abby, what do you think?
I think it is something that is flat.
Very good. It's that flat stuff right here. So we have flat right here. Now, I'm going to put up a poll because I want everybody to be answering. I want everyone in the class to be answering. How many faces are there? How many faces? Okay, there we go. So, poll questions up at everybody. I want you to put your answers in here. How many faces are there? Go ahead and count them up and then write your answer in. How many faces are there? And I want everyone to do this. Everyone. Everyone. Okay? So count it all up and then write in your answer. Now, yeah, only write in one answer though. Very good. Very good. So I want everyone to do this. So Jaden, Parker, Nathan, Hanif, Carrie, Delano, Kieran, Juliana, Mary, Seamus, cast your vote. Saeed, Chris, Hannah, Julia. What do you guys think? Cast your vote in there. In this thingy. How many faces are there? How many faces are there? So Julia, Hannah, Seamus, Chris, Mary, Neef, Jaden. Type it in for me. Type it in. Okay. Okay, a few more seconds, guys. Count them up. So how many faces are there? How many faces are there? Okay. Very good, guys. Very good. Jaden, how many faces? Alright. Excellent job, everybody. Okay, so when we're looking at the number of faces, we are looking at those flat parts. We're looking at those flat parts. So what we're going to do is we're going to just count up all the flat parts we see. So there's one right up front, right? One right up front. Then we have on top, that's 2, 3. So those are all the ones we see really easy. Then there's one on the bottom, 4, the one on the side, 5, and the one on the back, 6. Excellent job, guys. So there are 6 faces. There are 6 faces. Okay, now how many vertices? Raise your hand if you can tell us what a vertice is. Raise your hand if you can tell us what a vertice is. Tyler, what do you think? What is a vertice? Hit control.
The line.
There you go. Very good. Well, actually, you just told me what the edges are. So very good. So the edges are the lines right here. These lines going straight down, those are the edges. Because if we had a ball, it would roll off the edge. So what do you think, Tyler? What would a vertice be? What would the vertice be?
The corners.
Yeah, the corners. You got it. Excellent. So these are the vertices. They are the corners. And the edges are the lines. Those two are probably the easiest ones to mix up, guys. But excellent, excellent. So, how many corners do you guys see? How many corners do you guys see? Go ahead and type it in the text chat for me. How many corners are there? Let's count that up really quick. Now we got to make sure we get them all, right? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, but then we can't forget the back, which makes it 8. Excellent. Excellent job, guys. Those are the vertices, the corners. Now, what makes something a corner is when 2 edges meet. When 2 edges meet, we have a corner. That's one reason why the cone does not have a vertice or a vertex, because a cone doesn't have edges. That's one thing our book actually mixed up. So I wanted to correct that last week. Our book actually messed that one up. So I'm kind of upset at the book. But a corner has to have 2 edges, and a cone doesn't have any edges because these are both rounded. So that's not going to have anything. So I just want to specify that again. Excellent job, guys. Now that we found all the corners in our cube, we can go ahead and we can take a look at those edges again. So let's just count those up really quick. Here's an edge, here's an edge, here's an edge, here's an edge. There's an edge, there's an edge, there's an edge, there's an edge. Here's an edge, here's an edge, here's an edge, here's an edge. So how many edges are there, everybody? How many are there? Count that up. Beautiful. Beautiful. Love it. Love it. The edges are all those lines. You got it. So there are 12 edges. Excellent. 12 edges, 8 vertices. So if you get the number 8, you're counting the corners. Those are the vertices or vertex. Okay? Excellent. Well, that was just a little bit of a review from the last couple weeks. What we're going to be diving into today is actually, again, one of my favorite topics. One of my favorite topics. It is the grid. Raise your hand if you've ever worked with a grid before. Raise your hand if you've ever worked with a grid before. Anybody? Of course you have. Of course you have. Ledge, edge, they work. Okay, now figure out where things are on a grid. Okay, that's going to be our topic for this week, which it'll actually be pretty fun. I enjoy working with the grid. I think it's fun to work with. So let's say our I can statement today, guys. Say, I can figure out where things are on a grid. I can figure out where things are on a grid. This is what you can do, everybody. This is what you can do. We all can do this. It just takes a little practice, and then we'll be good to go with it. So we will obviously have to practice, but I think it's pretty fun. So let's take a look. So here are our vocabulary words. Grid and points. Now, we're used to point from our other things that we've done. Remember, a point on our thingy. The point right there, or the point from this, our line segment. So, point literally just means dot. It doesn't change at all with our math stuff. Okay? A point literally just means the dot. And then this little thing over here is the grid. Raise your hand if you've ever seen a movie that had like a giant grid paper on it or something, and someone was drawing lines that went up like this or down or something like that. Has anybody ever seen those before? That's kind of the idea. You can use grids for a lot of different things. You can use them for a lot of different things. Raise your hand if you've ever played Battleship. Raise your hand if you've ever played Battleship. Yep. Grids, they pop up in the most random places. So it's really good to be comfortable with them just because you do see them around. And it's kind of funny. You wouldn't be expecting to see them in certain places, but then all of a sudden, hey, look, there's a grid. So grids are really important for us to know what they are and be able to read them so then we can use them in our daily lives. Alright, so let's go ahead and let's take a look at it. A grid, wait for that to finish, a pattern of horizontal and vertical lines, usually forming squares. Okay, so literally that's the definition of a grid. We just have a bunch of horizontal and vertical lines that make squares. Now, there's actually some extra vocabulary words in here that we might not know for sure. Horizontal and vertical. Raise your hand if you have ever heard those words before. Raise your hand if you've ever heard those words before. You know what? Mrs. Graham has heard this one before. Someone, not naming names, back in school, used to call me vertically challenged. They call me vertically challenged. What that means, everybody, is that Mrs. Graham is rather short. That just means that Mrs. Graham is rather short. That's okay. I'm happy anyway. But vertical has all the things to do with going up and down. It has everything to do with going up and down. So, being the vertically challenged person that I am, that means that I have a very hard time of getting up. I am rather short. So, that means that I have a hard time with that. But anyway, that's what vertical means. Vertical is all about going up and all about going down. So, when something is vertical, it is standing straight up. When something is vertical, it stands straight up. Okay? So it goes just up and down. That is something vertical. That is something vertical. I want you to look around and I want you to try and find some vertical lines where you are right now. Try and find some vertical lines where you're sitting. Do you see any vertical lines anywhere? Do you see any vertical lines? Lines that go up and down. You know what? I see a vertical line on my computer. So here's my computer screen. I have a vertical line right here and a vertical line right here on my computer screen. Very good. Yep. It's basically anything going up and down. It's anything going up and down. Yep, like the edge of a door. So if you have your door right here, here's my doorknob. These are vertical lines. They go up and they go down. And yes, those two are parallel too. You got it. Excellent, Andrew. But they go up and down. That makes them vertical. Now, if up and down is vertical, what do you guys think horizontal is? What do you think horizontal is? Raise your hand if you can tell me. Jackson, what would horizontal be? What do you think, Jackson? So vertical goes up and down. What does horizontal do?
It goes left to right.
I'm not sure if that was Jackson, but very good. You got it, Jackson. So it goes left to right. That's horizontal. Horizontal is all about lines that go like this. It goes left to right. So when we're thinking about horizontal, I want you to think of the beginning of that word, horizon. The horizon, where we have a beautiful sunset or sunrise. The sun is on the horizon, the horizontal line. Okay? You're okay, Jackson? Alright, so right here, we have our sun on the horizon. Okay? It's on the horizontal line. That's one thing we can do to try and remember that one. So horizontal and vertical, they sound pretty similar. They sound pretty similar, but they kind of are antonyms for each other. They're antonyms for each other. Vertical is all about going up and down, and horizontal is about going from left to right. Alright, so vertical is all up and down. Horizontal is from left to right. Okay? So let's go ahead and let's take a look at this. When we're looking at our grid, we have all these lines going there. We have the lines going up and down, the lines going from side to side, blah, 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 blah. Well, that is important. That is going to be very important for us because we're going to have to figure out which one we do first. When we're trying to find where something is on the grid, we're going to have to go horizontally, vertically. One of them has to come first. So we're going to take a look at that in a minute. But that is important, guys. You're going to have to be able to go over and go up. And remember that pattern so that you don't make those mistakes. But we'll talk about it in a second. So horizontal and vertical is going to come into play in a second. Now, here's a little reminder for me that I need to go and check out the PDF that I had put together for us on a different screen. Because I knew I would forget. Alright, but what we're going to do is we're going to be running through some examples. Once we get the basics down, we want to make sure that we just feel comfy cozy going with the pattern. So let's take a look. Here's a grid. Now this is just going to be one of our practice grids. Now, each of these objects that I have on the grid have a specific location. And what we're going to do is we're going to find their specific location. Now this grid has a few added things to the one that we were looking at earlier. Let's zoom in and kind of look at it before we look at the problem. Now, does this remind you of anything? Does this remind you of anything? Raise your hand if you can think of anything. What does this remind you of? Andrew, what do you think?
Battleship.
That kind of reminds you of Battleship. Very good. You're fine, Morgan. Alright, we got a lot of school supplies on here. Very cool. Now, all this stuff over here, this always makes me think of just like a graph. It always makes me think of a graph. like a bar graph or something like that. When we are working with a grid, you kind of have the same deal going on as you would with a bar graph or something like that. You have all these lines over there. Now the lines, the numbers and all of that, they literally just number the line. So this line is 0 because he's clear at the bottom. Then 1, then 2, then 3, then 4, then 5, then 6, then 7, 8, 9, 10. So on and so forth. And we got the same deal going here. Now this is 0 because it was 0 on the other side as well. And then we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Blah, 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 blah. Anyway, so all of that is just numbering the lines. Okay, it's numbering the lines. So if I put blue on this line, I am numbering the 9th line that was going across. Okay, just numbering the 9th line going across. That's all I'm doing. It's literally just that number. So the fun thing about grids, guys, is that they're not anything tricky. They're not trying to trick you. They're not trying to be confusing. It basically is what it is. Okay? The only thing that we have to remember is if I want to figure out where this lamp is on the grid, I'm going to be using the numbers. I'm not just going to say the lamp is on the left, kind of towards the top middle-ish part. I'm not describing that. What I'm going to be doing is saying the exact spot where that lamp is. I'm going to give the exact numbers. That way, if someone else wanted to find that lamp, they would be able to go to those numbers and see it there. Okay? Okay. Now, let's check out the cell phone first. Now, the cell phone is one of those old-fashioned phones. Mrs. Graham actually kind of has. So we have a cell phone right here. Raise your hand if your parent has a cell phone like that still. Raise your hand if your parent has a cell phone like that still. Anybody? Oh, man. Mine is a flip phone, so it's a little better. But I don't have a smartphone, so my phone looks a little different. Anyway, let's go ahead and let's take a look. Now, when we're looking where that cell phone is on the grid, we're going to check out the numbers that it lines up with. Okay? Now, when you are going to find the numbers it lines up with, you always start here at the bottom. Always, always. And you go across until you find the number right here. Okay? Go across until you find the number that it's on. So it is on 7. And then we can see that it is also on 1. And this is the answer. This is where the cell phone is. Man. Alright, well let's go ahead and let's take a look at this. It is at 7, 1. Now, why would we want to know the location of this cell phone, guys? Why would we want to know the location of this cell phone? Anybody? What do you guys think? Why would we want to do this? Who remembers that our planet, it has lines that are longitude and latitude? Does anybody remember that? Our planet has lines that are longitude and latitude. Who remembers that? This is the same deal, guys. This is the same deal. On a map or something like that, we have all these little imaginary lines on our planet. So there is a specific spot where everything is. Just like where your house is or where a store is or something like that. That's how our GPSs work and all of that fun stuff. So really, all of this stuff goes back to things that we actually do use every day. We just don't have to think about it as much. But this locates where this is on a map. Okay, that's basically the idea. It kind of locates where it is. So the cell phone is at 7, 1. The cell phone is at 7, 1. Because we went over 7, because it was on the 7th line. and then we went over that way and found 1, and that's where it is. Ta-da! So, what do you guys think? Do you think this is pretty tricky? You think this is pretty tricky, or do you think it's pretty easy so far? What do you think? Yes, this is pretty easy peasy. The trick is in remembering that you always start at the bottom. The trick is remembering that it's always at the bottom. Okay? We can make it super, super easy on ourselves. So what we're going to do now is let's go ahead and let's find this computer. If you find it, you get to keep it. So let's go ahead and let's find this computer. Where is the computer on the grid? Where is the computer on the grid? Now make sure you're starting at the bottom. Make sure you're starting at the bottom. Very good. Well, hold on, hold on. What do you guys think? Very good. Oh, sorry, this is the computer right here that we're looking at. Just so everyone's clear. This one right here. Where is he? Type it in the text chat for me. Very, very close. Love it, love it, love it. Okay, so let's take a look at it. Let's take a look at it. So, our computer is right here, and what we're going to do to find it is we are going to start here at 0, and we're going to work our way this direction, everybody. You always start at the bottom. We always start horizontally. So, what we're going to do is we're going to do 4 as our first number. Now, double check what you did. Did you have 4 as your first number, or did you kind of mix it up? Did you have 4 as your first number? Mm-hmm. So you want to make sure you always check that out and make sure that you got that one going first. Focus on this for a sec. So we have 4 as our first number. Now we need to find our second number. So now we're going to move our way over here. And there we are. 4, 1. Excellent job, guys. Excellent. I love what I'm seeing in there. I saw a few of you mixing these two up. Now let's check it out. If we went to 1, 4, where would we land? If we went to 1, 4, where would we land? Where would that be? Let's see. Let's try it. So let me pick a new color. I'm going to pick green. We're going to go to 1. So here's 1, and then we're going to go up 4. So 1, 2, 3, 4. So instead of getting a brand new computer, you found a brand new light. That would make you a little upset, wouldn't it? Oh, I'm going to get a new computer. Oh, I got a light instead. Oh, man. So, see, that is a big deal. See why it's a big deal. Horizontal and vertical, we need to know the difference between those two, because we need to be able to find the difference so then we will make the right choices on things like that. 4, 1 and 1, 4 are not the same thing. Okay? These two are not the same thing. So we always start at the bottom and work our way over. Okay? 4, 1. Start at the bottom and work your way over. So it's always horizontal first. We always have to start with the sunrise, and then we work our way up. Kind of like what a sun does, right? So it starts on the horizon, and then eventually it'll start going up in the sky, and bloop, 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 bloop. Okay, so make sure you do that when you're practicing, because that's going to be a big one. Now let's do one last practice one, and then we'll be good. This time, I think you guys want a stapler. This time, I think you guys want the stapler, right? So, go ahead and tell me, where is that stapler located? Oh, sure, you want a stapler. You know you do. Where is that stapler located? Where is that stapler located? Type it in the text chat for me. Beautiful, beautiful. This was an easy one, right? Beautiful, I love it. Well, not just number 9. Not just number 9. Got to go all the way up. So let's check it out. So start here. We're going to go to the horizon until we get there. Then we're right there at our 9. So yes, the first number is going to be a 9. The first number is going to be a 9. Then we have to work our way up until we get to the stapler. The stapler's right there. And what number is on the what line is the stapler on? What number line is the stapler on? Check that out. You might have to use your finger. You might have to use your finger to carry it over. Don't just try and eyeball it. Sometimes that makes it harder. So we just carry our finger over and we can see another 9. Ta-da! Yep, there you go. Excellent job, everybody. 9, 9. That's where that one is. So anybody could find that by going to 9, 9 there. Excellent. So that one was nice because you could kind of do it either way. But remember, you always should start on the horizon. You should always start on the horizon, on the horizontal. Because if you don't, you might go to the wrong place. Okay? You might go to the wrong place. So always start on the horizon. Let's do one last one and then we'll be good for today. Let's do the pencil. Let's do the pencil. Okay. You know you want a pencil. It's a really cool pencil. Where's the pencil at? Where's the pencil at? Where's the pencil at? Type it in the text chat for me. And remember where you start. Remember where you start. Okay, Tomas. Remember where you start, everybody. And use your finger to help you. Use your finger to help you. Don't get lost. Don't get lost on the grid. Make sure you find your way home. Alright, remember we always start on the horizon. We always start on the horizon, so we always start on the bottom. Horizontal, we always have to go from the bottom. So, my first number is 2. My first number is 2 because we always start on the bottom. And look, the pencil is on 2. It's on the second line. Okay? So we always start right there. And then we move our way over to see how tall it is. We move it over to see how tall, because the 7 is up high. See how the 7's up so high? So our second number is 7. Very good. Now it's not 27. We have a little comma in there because they're two separate numbers. 2 and 7. 2 and 7. Okay? Now these little things that right there, that 2, 7, what we do is we call that something. We actually call that ordered pairs up there. We call it an ordered pair. That means that they have in a specific order and they are a pair and they go together. That means they have to go together, otherwise you don't know where you're going. Okay, they are a pair. They're best buds. So we're going to be working with ordered pairs pretty much all week. And we're going to be practicing this to make sure we got it comfy cozy inside our brain. Okay? But that's going to be it for today. Excellent job, everybody. You guys nailed it. And we're going to keep practicing to make sure we got it memorized. Because the last thing we want to do is, go about the week and get lost. So we'll keep practicing, guys. You guys are doing awesome. Keep up all the good work. I think I'm I think I'm cutting out. Good job, good guys. Ah, cutting out a lot. Okay, good job, guys. You did a fantastic at that. More practice this week. Yes. Okay, there we go. Okay. Let's take a look. So your after class activities today. Make sure you do your addition time test. And then in math, we have this big folder, coordinate geometry. Blah, 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 blah. It's a big folder. Focus on these two. Distance between 2 points. Now, we didn't get too long to talk about this today, but you guys got the basics down, so you'll be fine with this one. Okay? So check out this distance between 2 points in coordinate geometry. You don't have to do the entire folder today. Make sure you're taking your time with it. Okay? Excellent job, everybody. We're going to do multiplication mountain in a minute. Everybody else, you have a fantastic afternoon or morning, and I will see you a little bit later. Okay? Bye, everyone. See you later.
Graham,
Yes?
I restart multiplication mountain.
We'll see, Jackson.
Okay.
I'm trying to close my meeting.